Good morning. How are we? I hope you are all well on this beautiful Sunday morning. Welcome back to Sunday Service, everybody. I'm looking like a fishwife this morning with my headband on. How are we? Please, please, please comment in the chat box. What is good and great with you today? How are you feeling? I know Keith is feeling like things are going to really hit the fan very, very shortly. And he's obviously shared that he's literally just had a song come into his mind about I am so excited. And what's so interesting is that this is a song that often comes into my mind around the time that I'm doing live videos. So Keith, we're clearly in alignment with each other. So how are we all? What's good? What's great? Talk to me. I have got so much to get through with you guys today. Oh my gosh, so much stuff to yeah, I know I always look gangster. Keith, the red one is the one that everybody says that I look like Tupac. Now, before we go into today, and I know that I didn't start with the song this morning, I was going to play a song about a woman on a mission, but I decided to change my mind and just gently step into this with you all and go on a bit of a journey with you. So before we step any further, anybody in the UK, how freaking cold is it? Like, it's so cold here in the UK. I think it's like 20 degrees, but it's so cold. I literally cannot get over how cold it is. Guys, is it cold where you are? Keith, I know it's your winter over there. Is it exceptionally cold? Or are you guys getting some decent weather? Because this summer here in the UK, I know I'm probably going to get told off for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because that's what I do. It's really been a cold summer. We haven't actually had a summer. I think we've probably had about a week or so of sunshine, maybe 2 weeks of sunshine. But that's why I'm sat here in a jumper. You know, it is so cold at the moment. I can't get over it. And the levels of rain that we have seen, particularly here in the UK, has been absolutely next level. Now, I know we're seeing a lot of flooding and we're seeing a lot of fires around the world. And I really do feel that this is distraction tactics. As you guys know, I don't look at things. Something's just popped in my mind from last night. Maybe I'll share that with you if I get time. Let me write it down, otherwise I might forget. If not, I'll do a whole video on it. I went to the cinema last night and watched a film and it blew my mind how open they are being about certain subjects. So I might do a separate film on that. Video on that. If I get time today, I'll go through it, but I actually have quite a lot to get through. It's very interesting, very interesting. Like, we had a really cold winter here in the UK, and our summer, literally, it went to about May or June time, and then all of a sudden we got some sunshine, and then we literally stepped into what was supposed to be summer. Like, literally, it went from cold and rainy to boiling hot sunshine, but it's been so cold this summer. Yes, it was Black Widow. Yes, it was Black Widow. Now, I had about 5 of my followers message me and say, Lucy, you need to check out this movie. And I was like, I don't watch movies. But I actually feel, obviously there was a reason I had to go there. It was next level. I was really quite intrigued by it. I think that's the right way to the right way to put it. I cannot believe a film has been put out that is so in your face. Literally so in your face. I literally cannot believe it. But yeah, it was yeah, that's absolutely right. It's an Avenger movie, Keith, but it is kind of like a spin-off of that, if that makes sense. So it's got Scarlett Johansson in it, and a couple of other people, but not many names that you would know. And I was shocked, absolutely shocked from the get-go. Like, the first few minutes, you don't really see anything, and then you're like, this is quite interesting. This is very interesting. Oh my gosh, they're going there. Oh my gosh, they are going there. Oh my gosh, they are going there. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's actually rated a 12. I wouldn't take anybody under the age of 18 with me. Anybody sleeping would probably just think it was an okay movie. It was a good movie. But as you guys know, I have never and I will never look at a movie in the way that most normal people do. Oh, let's just go there now. Let's just go there now because I've started. So other stuff might have to get dropped, but that's okay. So the way that this movie started was, it just showed these two young girls having fun. One of them was out riding on her bike. She was the older sister. Just it almost looks like a bit of an eerie, normal American family. And then within the first maybe 10, 15 minutes, it comes to light like the older child is kind of doesn't want something to happen, but you're kind of like, I wonder what that is. I wonder what it is. And you believe that these two people are their mother and father. And basically what happens is it comes to light that these two children were bought from their parents, trafficking. They were taken into this scenario where they believed that they were part of this family for 3 years. And then all of a sudden one day the father came home and said, right, we're going on an adventure. And these children were basically taken out of America and moved to a location where they were basically put through a mind control program. They were terrorized. They were, they got into their heads and they manipulated their minds. But do remember that these children had already been trafficked and they were already put in these scenarios. Like it comes into consciousness and you get the awareness later on in the movie that these Scarlett Johansson had been bought and then her mother had been killed. So they'd basically given a lot of money for her because she had good DNA or whatever, or she had the right the right DNA makeup or whatever. And so they go after these girls, and it was a real battle, actually. And as I'm speaking about this, my heart is aching. I think that's the only way that I can share this, is like my heart is aching, because what they have done is they've basically either normalized it or they've brought it up into consciousness to awaken more people. But I do feel that a lot of people won't even notice it. Even though it is slap bang in your face, a lot of people won't even notice it. And it was very, very, very interesting. So they basically take these girls, they've normalized them being in a family setting. They take them to this place. They basically turn them into killers, and then they're sent out on missions, and they're called the Black Widows. And what transpires by the end of the movie is that there's hundreds and thousands of them all across the world, but they're all women. No men. They're all women, and they are all basically what I would call go through the mind control program. They even show that they're sat there watching certain movies, they're watching certain things, so they're normalizing it like we do with the television screen. Like we see something and we normalize it. We see something on social media and we normalize it. Every single element of our life. Me now speaking to you, people could say I was programming you. It's as simple as that. Like everything that we're doing, every interaction that we're having at the moment is programming. And this movie, like I wish I'd had my phone in my hand and I'd taken notes all the way through, but my jaw was on the ground. So basically the two sisters got separated, and one of the sisters was like literally turned into this mad killer, but then she goes off to join the Avengers. The other sister really steps up into her own and becomes like the number one warrior, if you like. And then the sisters actually end up coming back together, because this is the fascinating bit about it. Basically, there is a chemical in a vial. There is a chemical that when it is shared into these ladies' faces and into their auric field, actually it removes all of the programming. Very, very, very interesting. Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked at the level of if you are awake, you will see it. There's no way that you can't unsee it once you've seen it. So what I would do is, go and watch it, but I wouldn't take your kids. And I would really observe it from a perspective of what's going on around the world right now. What other acknowledgements? Now, I don't know if this movie is a movie of the light or if this is a movie of the dark. So, like Keith said, oh my gosh, they're trying to normalize this behavior. I don't know. There was so few celebrities in it, if that makes sense, that I almost feel this is a consciousness movie. This is to bring it up into our consciousness. But I don't know. Like, all I say is that my heart aches, because if this is what they have shown us is going on around the world, you know that there is a level of truth in it. Every single movie has a layer of truth in it. Even Avatar, people would be like, oh, Lucy, Avatar, how on earth can that be true? That's New Earth. They showed us New Earth. They showed us what life could be like if we hadn't, agreed and committed to stay in this low vibrational matrix. It's extremely, extremely interesting what's happening right now. So if you do go and watch it, go with an extremely open mind, go with an extremely, just sit and allow the flow, literally allow the flow of what's going on. Because essentially I feel, in fact, there's another point, and I'm really sorry to ruin the movie for some of you. I don't think this will ruin the movie, but at some point, there is one of the widows who basically is having a fight with one of the widows that got away. And at the end, this thing starts flashing on her arm, and it basically means she's going to get terminated. And she looks at the other girl and she's like, I just don't want this. I just don't want this. I just don't want this. And then she just terminates. And for me personally, again, that's showing the abuse, the SRA that takes place. Okay, I can't say that word. Please don't say that word. If you're like, what does SRA mean? Somebody can message you privately or whatever. But the S ritual, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So that to me even shows that is taking place. We're just going to terminate. So look for the clues in there. Look for the I don't know if people are trying to normalize this stuff and they are just, it's almost red rag to a bull, or if this is a consciousness thing to shake people awake. There is so much going on out there at the moment. We knew August was going to be spicy. We knew August was going to bring a lot of truths like last month's did. But, the things like, I don't know, Nicola, I've got to be honest with you. I just don't know. I don't know. I just feel very sad about it at the moment. So maybe a download will come through on that in the next couple of days or whatever, but I'm just not sure. There's a lot of people out there saying that this stuff about, in Scotland, the last couple of days I've been showing my dad. In Scotland, they're basically saying a 4-year-old child can make their own decision on what sex they want to be, and other really horrific things like that. And people are saying, oh, this is to awaken people. And I'll be honest with you, that kind of stuff, like I'm actually laughing at this stuff now, not because I agree with it, but because I'm just embarrassed for the people that cannot see it. Like, I've literally got to the point where I'm like, how are these headlines not literally shaking people awake? Now, some of you will remember, I used to talk about this a lot, being the universe, the humanity is being shaken to be awakened. Yeah, I don't know what your name is, Iron Dogger, but there is, I've got an article. I don't know if I've still got it on my phone, but it was on my Instagram, where Scotland basically, I think it was the Daily Mail or something like that, no surprise, came out and said in Scotland, a 4-year-old can make their own decision on sex without parents' knowledge. And for me, that's tragic to me. I don't care what anybody says or what anybody does or what they want to be or who they want to be or what they want to sleep with or whatever. None of my goddamn business. But please, there is a reason we call adults at 18 to kind of 21. Please allow those decisions to continue at that age. I've heard recently that Starbucks are basically paying people that want to go through a sex change. Like, they're helping people that want to do that. So, I don't know if that's true about Starbucks. I don't know if it's false, but the thing is, things like that to me are coming into my consciousness, and I'm like, this has to be to wake people up, because if I had a 4-year-old child, I would be freaking furious that is taking place. I would be furious, and I would be going on the warpath. So this is why I have to believe that these people are being shaken to be awakened. But I completely agree with you, Iron Dogger. This is literal insanity. But then the last 18 months have been. It's been literal insanity. Literal insanity to think that healthy human beings cannot fight a virus, by looking after themselves. It's insanity to think that, human beings need to be isolated from each other. It's insanity to think that social distancing is a thing. How can distancing be social? And this is why, for somebody like me who's had their eyes wide open for, a number of years now, nowhere near as long as a lot of people, but this is literal programming to send people insane. Literal programming to send people insane. And I'm not going to name names, so please don't ask me to, but I'm having parents of children reaching out to me saying, my child is not coping, my child wants to end their life, my child has had enough, my child this, my child that, and my heart breaks. My heart absolutely breaks. Keith, could you just take the SRA comment out for me, please, babe? Thank you. We need to separate those letters. If you're going to write SRA, you need to just separate those letters out. Otherwise, can you just delete that comment for me, please, Keith? Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I have to keep on top of this, guys, because I'm actually going to be using this platform a little bit more because of my Instagram has been completely shadow banned. So I'm going to take some time off of Instagram and I'm going to bring everything over to here. Yeah, Nicola, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, babe. I don't know what words trigger. I don't know. No. You don't need to apologise. Don't worry. I'm just keeping an eye on the comments for that reason. I would really like this video to remain if possible. So, guys, I cannot say to you what is right and what is wrong, what is happening and what's not happening, because honestly, I've said it from the get-go. This is about humanity ascension. This is about a mass awakening taking place on the planet. We have got lost in this awakening. Why? Because, President Trump didn't get back in November, and then Biden got brought in, and all of this noise was saying that wasn't possibly going to happen. So we've got confused, we've got distracted. We need to bring it straight back and actually really bring it back into what is it that we are believing, what is it that we feel, and it's all about discernment. Like, for me, that movie right now, it's so fresh in my mind, and I haven't been to the cinema for such a long time. So for me right now, it's a little bit of I feel a little bit sick and a little bit icky from it, but in days to come it might get, oh right, it was this or it was that, and I'll share it with you guys as and when I get that download. And you are absolutely right. Most people are turning to drugs right now. Most people are, they want an escape route out. And like I say, I've probably had about 20 or 30 people reaching out to me about their children that are just not coping. They're just not coping because all of this noise, all of this sensory overload is too much. And I want to call it, and I know I'm going to upset a few people here, but we should be doing whatever it takes to protect our children. We should be doing whatever whatever it takes to protect our children, whether that means getting out protesting, whether that means going off grid, whether that means checking out of schools. I don't know what that looks like to you, but we should be doing whatever it takes to protect our children right now from this nonsense that we are living in. You know, Australia has just lost their marbles, and in certain ways they are about in certain ways they're about a year behind, because those certain states didn't get the lockdowns. You know, they didn't get the lockdowns the first time round. Melbourne was the area that got abused the first time round, but everywhere else was carrying on. How do I know that? I've got friends all over Australia. I saw them going out for dinners. I saw them messaging me going, oh my God, I can't believe you're still in lockdown after a year. Now all of a sudden they're in a really strict lockdown. It's really, really, it's next level for them. Is absolutely next level for them, and people aren't coping. Why? Because there hasn't been enough take up of this. Yeah. We must remember what we came here to do. What we are experiencing externally right now. So all of this noise around the world, Melbourne going into its 6th lockdown, the UK going back into lockdown. I hate to break it to you, we'll be going back in the next month or so. They're priming us, they're prepping us for it right now. Oh my gosh, football season is back. That means a spike in cases. Oh my gosh, this. I promise you it is coming. And I've been saying this for a very long time. However, I'm praying that I'm right when I say this. I feel this is going to be the last one. I feel there's going to be a lockdown over winter. There is going to be a global mandate of this, a global mandate. Then there's going to be an announcement, and then boom, the whole world is going to be locked down, and that will be the start of the end. I've been saying this for a very long time. Since September last year, I have been talking about this, that we are going to get an announcement, we're going to get put into lockdown, and then that is when all of the stuff starts to really come to light. So let me just go back to the point that I was just making. Whatever we are witnessing externally right now is what is going on internally. So if you think about it, we've got give or take 8 billion people on the planet. I know it's less than that, but give or take 8 billion people on the planet. Let's say 7 billion of those people are like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh my God, I'm living in fear. Oh my God. And then there's a billion people that are like, we've got this. We've got this. Why do you think we're witnessing chaos? Because the interior of 7 billion people are there basically going, ah! So of course we've got to see the chaos. The chaos is going to shaken to awaken. We must trust. Now, I know it's not easy, guys. It's extremely frustrating when we can see, I've looked at a couple of headings of newspapers today, I'm witnessing this stuff, and I'm like, gosh, how can people not see that they're literally priming us? They're literally prepping us for this. I have been saying for about a year, and I didn't know when it was going to take place. I hoped it was going to take place in November after the election, but I was so freaking wrong. That was my ego speaking. There is going to be one global lockdown where literally the whole world gets put in lockdown, and it's going to go after an announcement. I feel the announcement is going to be about mandating this, because I'm noticing a lot more places are mandating. So I believe Australia are now saying, you've got to have it to travel between states. You've got to have it to go to work. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. Doesn't matter. Stand in your truth. This is a game of patience. This is about patience. We must remain patient no matter what. Yes, we all want to travel. Let me be honest with you. No one is going anywhere. Like, you may have been able to get a cheeky little trip in like I did to Spain. No one's going anywhere. So let it go. Literally, let it go. Forget about it for now. We are going to be making sure that we can go back to that way at some point in the future. We have a really, really rocky few months incoming. We really do. I've been saying this for a very long time. We have a really rocky period of time, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible for our collective consciousness. Like, thousands of people around the world are waking up right now. People that used to tell me that I was crackers are now messaging me saying, maybe I was wrong about you, Lucy. And I'm like, listen, you don't need to say that. Just welcome to your awakening. Now, something that I really wanted to speak about, because again, I've had hundreds of messages this last week about, oh my gosh, I just can't, Lucy, I just can't. I know I'm going to have it, particularly people in Australia. Oh, I'm going to take it to get things back to normal. How has that worked in the US and in the UK? It hasn't. So don't be delusional. You are literally kidding yourself. Oh, Lucy, I'm going to take it to travel. How has that worked around the rest of the world? Has that worked for them? No. So, oh, I'm going to take it for my family. Okay. Now, I might get a little bit teary here. I had a very, very, very inspirational client, a very inspirational client. When I met her, she was in a pretty bad spot. She was pretty sick and she was in a pretty bad spot. And we did a bit of work together, and, she was like one of my biggest fans. She really, really was. And basically, because of her cancer, this wet weather here in the UK just didn't work for her. So she was brave. She got on a plane and she left, and she went to a country where she found love, and her family hated it. Her family absolutely hated it. They wanted her home. They wanted to look after her. They wanted to make sure she got the best medical treatment possible. But she said, do you know what? I love my family. I always will love my family, but no, I have to do this for me. Now, she came back to the UK for a holiday to see her family, had a fall. As soon as she could, she fled the UK again because her body just wasn't working properly. And I got the news a few weeks ago from her beautiful granddaughter that she'd passed. God rest her soul. Now, she died happy. She died where she wanted to be. It went against everything in her family. Everything in her family. But she stood in her truth. She didn't take the treatment. She didn't want to do the treatment. She decided, because we'd done a lot of work to release a lot of the pressures from the cancers, and that's obviously what I was involved in, was helping her remove all of the pressures that had been, all the emotional trauma that had been brought into base, and which had resulted in the cancer. That's the work that I was doing with her. And I'm so proud of her. She could have easily taken the treatment. She could have easily listened to her family. She could have easily stayed here in the UK. She had a home, she had a family, she had everything. The reason I'm sharing this is she stood in her truth despite everybody that she knew and loved thinking she was batshit crazy. And I am so inspired by this lady. I am so inspired by her. How can you not be inspired by somebody that literally says, do you know what? I love you. I will always be here for you. However, this is the way that I'm going to, see this journey through. Now, what's happening at the moment is so many people aren't prepared to do that. Because what if my family isolate me? What if my family think I'm crazy? What if? My family is completely split. Half of my family think I'm totally batshit crazy, and they think like that this is the most deadly thing on the planet, even though I've recovered from it. They think it's the most deadly thing on the planet, and they have a real issue. They keep saying to me, just take it. And what's very interesting is I actually, as you guys know, I go running every morning. I set the intention that I'm going to meet the people or get the signs that I need for myself and you guys. And yesterday I was out running. I actually did a long run yesterday. And I was walking through this bit that was quite muddy. And I ended up meeting a dog and its owner, and the dog was crazy. And I was like, oh my God, I love your dog. Because it was literally just running around. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is why I got him. Because, it was I wanted something to keep me young. I wanted something to keep me energized, you know. And I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely perfect. Anyway, I ended up walking along with this woman for probably about 10 minutes. And what was very interesting, we were having this beautiful conversation, and I kept asking, right, why, what is the reason for this conversation? Like, why have you brought this lady into my consciousness? What message does she have for me and the collective? And what is so incredible is literally, I was just like, bye, nice to meet you, see you later. And literally just before I said that, she said, well, see, I think the anti should be ashamed of themselves now. And I was quite taken aback because I was like, wow, like I just didn't see that coming at all. And I just said, oh, what's your reason? And she said, oh, the anti people, you know, they're just holding us back now. They're stopping us from doing things. And I went, oh, thank you for sharing that perspective with me. I really appreciate that. I'm actually pro-choice. I believe that every single human on the planet should be able to make their own decisions. And in all honesty, I would be pro if they could guarantee that, you know, if they could guarantee that it wouldn't be spread or it wouldn't do any harm, or, you know, the lockdowns were going to stop and everything like that. And it really got her thinking. I could see the light bulb go on. You guys know I can see energy, and I literally saw this light bulb go on, and I just was like, hopefully, fingers crossed, this will all be over soon. You know, you keep yourself well, love to your dog, and, you know, if I see you on the comment again, I'll look forward to it, kind of thing. So I didn't say, what the hell, rah, 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 you want to do your research, go and check out the yellow card, none of that stuff. It was literally just a wow, thank you for sharing that perspective, because I didn't know what the reason was, other than we were having a lovely conversation. And for that to literally come out of nowhere, and for me to be able to not say that she was wrong, but just give my perspective, and I literally saw the light bulb on, I know she was going to go home and research. And that's what we need to be doing here, guys. It doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. We must choose love over fear. We must choose love over fear. What you consume, fear, fear porn, consumes you. And we're witnessing this at the moment. We're witnessing this as part of the collapse of humanity. Humanity is collapsing, literally collapsing. Well, what's quite interesting, I believe, well, they say that there's about, I don't know, 48, 50 million of the UK that have been this. Keith, can you just remove that comment, babe, because it's got the V word in it. So can you just remove that comment for me, please? Yeah, so basically what here in the UK, we're about 48, 50 million people that have been taken it. However, what I'm very aware of is a couple of people have recently been telling me that those numbers are completely fabricated. Completely fabricated. So and actually that's why the panic is out there. That's why they're locking people down. That's why they're saying people can't go to work. That's why they're mandating, is because actually the numbers that they've been pushing out aren't actually the reality. Again, I don't know if this is true or not. I actually feel that here in the UK, a massive portion of the population have taken it. I really do. I feel the vibration in this country has changed significantly. I feel and I see lots of hearts closing down and things like that. So, but again, we just need to sit with it in our consciousness and just make sure that we are aware of what is taking place. Something that came through yesterday, I had to drive somewhere. I can't remember where I was driving, but I was driving somewhere yesterday, and I was told very clearly the shadow's days are numbered. The shadow's days are numbered. Now, what I would like to share with you guys, and you know, I've spoken about this on Instagram Live, is everything comes to an end. Every war that has ever taken place has come to an end. Every relationship has come to an end. And you might be like, well, I've been with my partner 25 years and it hasn't come to an end. No, but it will do. It will do. When one of you passes, it will do. You know, this is what we need to remember. These dark times that we're living in right now, they will pass. And it's about setting the intention. It's about the words, the thoughts, the actions that we are taking. It's about, turning up for the meditations. This last week, we have had two incredible, incredible meditations. I did a meditation on the 8th, which is a week ago now. And that was absolutely, we peaked the Schumann resonance. We literally sent the Schumann resonance to a whole new level because of that guided meditation. We were utilizing the energies, whether you believe they're good or bad, of new moon and the Lion's Gate. We used that collectiveness and we brought it into something very special. There was a really, really amazing meditation, and thank you to any of you that came along. Fast forward to the 13th, which was a couple of days ago, Amelia was doing the closing out of that. Now, I didn't record the whole meditation because it was a little bit disjointed, but if you read the description, I basically did the first section with people, which we didn't record because I didn't realise that we needed to. And then Amelia did like a 10-minute meditation, and then we did gratitude afterwards. And it was incredible. We've had two really amazing collective energy focus groups that have been really helping us with this. It's all about the words, thoughts, and actions. This is why we must be conscious about what we're thinking. And if we think ourselves bringing in, something very low vibration, we need to catch ourselves and say, no, this is not on my timeline. I do not consent to that thought. Likewise, when you find yourself, calling yourself a stupid idiot or a dickhead or something like that, you catch yourself, no, I'm not. I'm a divine being of light. I'm perfection in a human skin suit. The dark, the shadow, whatever you want to call it, is going to another. Oh, don't worry about it. You don't need to. No. Don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. We just nip certain words in the bud because I get blocked for it. Other people don't. This is what's fascinating. There are many other people out there that don't get blocked for it, but I get blocked constantly because of the language that I'm speaking and I guess the information that I'm sharing with you guys. But it's constant with me. I'm shadow banned everywhere, and that's not me being victim. I'm going to keep going. Like whatever happens, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going. This is my job. I'm here to remind people that love is the answer. Love is the only answer. And I've been talking about this since 2015. I just didn't realize why at the time. The love vibration is the only vibration that we need to be tapping into. So catch yourself with what is going on. Catch yourself every step of the way. Catch yourself. Oh, no, that's not my thought. Oh, no, that's not my language. Honestly, and then take the action. If you feel drawn to do a meditation with somebody, do a meditation with somebody. If you feel drawn to, if you feel drawn to go and do something really beautiful, and I'm going to share something yesterday that restored my faith in humanity, just go do that. If you feel drawn to sit on the floor with a homeless person and have a really beautiful conversation, just go do that. If you feel drawn to go and dedicate some time, voluntary time in a soup kitchen or something like that, go do that. Do what your soul requires right now. Do whatever your karma needs to be able to replenish. Now, yesterday I was blown away. You guys know, like I love my life because I'm just completely conscious. I live on a 5th dimensional vibration. I feel very, very privileged to live there and to be able to see everything in my life as a sign, as a messenger, as communication from God or the divine or whatever you want to call. Now, yesterday I pulled into the petrol station to fuel my car because I'm telling people really keep everything topped up at the moment. Just make sure. And I got down to about half a tank, and like, this is not the old Lucy. The old Lucy would let it run right down and then be like, okay, I'm going to fill it up. But now, because of what's going on at the moment, I always make sure I've got cash on me. I always make sure I've got extra food at home, and I always make sure I've got fuel in my car to make sure that I can take journeys if I need to. And so I pulled into the petrol station yesterday, and Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. If you need anything to restore your faith in humanity, just listen, listen, listen. So I don't know what pump I was at, but I'm basically behind a BMW convertible that's in front of me. I pull up behind him, and I've got all of the pumps are busy, but I've got this car to the right of me that I hadn't even clocked, I'll be honest with you. Anyway, the guy obviously finishes in front. He goes in to pay. And I'm just paying at the pump because, you know, I'm just quick and easy like that. You know, I'll just get it done, whatever. And the guy goes in into the petrol station, and he comes out and he walks over to the car next to me, and he said, "Do you need to borrow some money?" And it really pricked my ears up, because I thought, this is interesting, because he almost acknowledged him as a stranger. So I don't know if he was like, hey, mate, I overheard the conversation in there. Do you need to borrow some money? And this total stranger, like, I could tell by the way that they were interacting with each other, was like blown away. I've got goosebumps all over me. Now, what I learned listening to their conversation, and I was so blown away by this, honestly, I was so grateful to God, to the divine, for placing me in this scenario. What I learned was, the man in the car next to me went in to pay, his card got declined, so he left the kiosk to go and ask his girlfriend or whoever was in the car with him for payment, whether that be cash or whether that be a card. The man behind had obviously heard this, didn't want to embarrass him in the front of the shop, so went outside, went up to his car and just said, "Look, is there anything I can do to help you? Would you like to borrow some money? Like, you know, do you need me to pay?" And I was like, oh my gosh. And the guy was blown away. You could tell. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's the kindest thing anybody has ever offered me. But you know, I've got my girlfriend's car. I've got goosebumps all over me." And I looked at this guy. He must have been in his mid-30s. And I looked at this guy and I just said, "Thank you." And he looked at me a little bit dumbfounded, and I thought, I don't care whether you think I'm crazy or not. I just looked at him, and I opened my heart, and I literally Care Bear stared him love. Do you get what I mean? I was like, "You are a really sweet, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for remaining in the vibration." Now, I bet there were other people in that queue that were going, "God's sake, why do you have to keep trying your card? Oh, for God's sake, come on, I'm in a rush." I can imagine it. I can imagine people being like that. And it just blew me away. And this guy just kind of winked at me, and I don't know if he's conscious. I don't know if he's fast asleep. I don't know. I'll be honest, don't really care. He didn't have a mask on, so I'm going to guess he's kind of partially awake or something, like one eye open, one eye closed maybe. But that is the gift that all of us can do. And I'm not saying you have to go and pay 30 or 40 or 50 quid for somebody's petrol. Just that tiny little moment of, is there anything I can do to help you? Literally, is there anything I can do to help you? That is how we're going to change the world. That is how we're going to go to the new consciousness. Let's not sit in a place where we are in victim. Let's not sit in a place where we are, you know, "Oh gosh, everything's going against us. Oh gosh, this lockdown is going to happen again. Oh my God, they're mandating this." Guys, the mandate is going to happen. Get it in your heads. I've been talking about this for a very, very, very long time. It's going to happen. The mandate is going to happen. We will be able to reverse it. I promise you. It doesn't mean you have to take it. It means this is going to be the shift in consciousness. This is going to be the split in consciousness. I've been talking about this for years. This is going to be the split in consciousness. Those that are prepared to stand in their truth. Those that are prepared to, no matter what, recognize what you were put on this planet to do. Okay? It's very, very, very important. Nobody can force you to do anything. Nobody. Take back your power. Sharon, that's beautiful that you did that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really, really, really beautiful. Thank you. Know what your truth is. Anything that you do not align with, do not comply with. No, and you're bang on. It's not here in the UK either. And this is the consciousness, Meredith. People are panicking. That's the word that I get, panic, because, you know, they're living in fear. And if we can just get them to that higher level of consciousness, they won't fear. Yeah, actually, Mal, you were on my list as well, about talking about standing in your truth. Like Mal's whole family, partner and everything, you know, they don't necessarily agree with everything that Mal does, but Mal's owning it. You know, she's owning it, like so many of you are. But it's a really, really great example. Mal is a very, very great example. When I first met Mal, she was a tiny piece of what she is today. Today, she is this incredible woman that no matter what, she's prepared to come from love with everything and hold the discussions. She is incredible. It's taken a lot of work and a lot of, you know, really, real deep soul searching, but she's got it. She's nailed it. She's owning it. She's a totally different person. That's what, she came on my program, and literally the woman that started that program is not the person who finished that program. She is a catastrophic worlds apart difference, you know, and I commend all of you. I thank all of you. Like, honestly, I thank each and every one of you, because all of you that follow me, all of you, and even on YouTube, I'm being banned and all the rest of it, but all of you that tap into the videos, all of you that follow me, all of you that are, you know, on my Instagram or on my Facebook or whatever, there is a level of truth within you that you are acknowledging because you are following me. And that's my job here on this planet. So I commend you all. I thank you all. I literally have so much gratitude for each of you showing up, because there's so many that aren't. So remember, anything that you do not align with, anything that makes you feel a little bit icky, anything that you think, no, I can't possibly have that, do not comply with it. It's not going to make your life easier. You are going to resent these people. If you take this because of your family, you are going to resent the people that you're doing it for. If you do something to appease other people, you will resent them. Fact. We're not here to stick like glue to our family members. Despite what certain cultures and everything think, we're not. We're not here to stick like glue. We're here to be loved and to be treasured and to remember what we came here through. And some people chose a very awful path to remember their awakening. Some people chose to have some really horrific things happen to them. Thankfully, I chose the path where, you know, I was going to be nurtured and loved and all the rest of it until my health got stripped from me. And that was going to be the moment that I remembered what I was sent here to do. That was the moment that I got awakened. Now, just because you're not going to comply with things that you're not aligned to, it doesn't mean that you have the right to say that you're right. Respect each other's views, respect their beliefs, respect their choices. And this is all I say to people. This is all I say to people all of the time. Hey, you do what's right for you. As long as you have researched it and you feel you are making an informed choice, I will support you 100%. I hope that you can honor my journey and do the same with me. Is that triggering? No. I don't feel it's triggering. If somebody said to me, Lucy, do you know what? You know, I hear what you're saying and I really want to believe it, but, you know, it just makes sense for me to take it. It just makes sense. I've done the research, you know, I've weighed up the pros and cons. I'd be like, babe, do you know what? I support you. Like, my mum and dad took it. My mum and my stepdad took it. My dad is like me. If you're on my Facebook, you would have heard what he said. A quote of the day last week was basically, my dad was like, these effers, let's call them, running the asylum need to be taken down. Like, literally, my dad is me in an older male body. It's hilarious. I certainly get my passion and my drive from him. However, on the other side of my family, my mum and my stepdad have taken it. Now, it breaks my heart. I'll be honest with you. My ego is completely devastated devastated. Like, I'm, you know, a very well-known truther out there. I'm, you know, I help people ascend. I'm a spiritual mentor to thousands of people around the world. Yet my own family don't believe me, and that hurts. But then I recognize that's my ego. I recognize that's the rebel in me, you know, that wants to be nurtured and wants to be loved. We've just got to respect where each other is at. And God forbid anything happens to my mum. God forbid anything happens to my stepdad. I'll have to step through it when that happens. I'm not going to call it in. Their belief is that this thing is really deadly. Why? Because one of my family's, you know, distant families, partners died of it. Fathers died of it. The fact that he was grossly overweight and had health conditions and stuff, it was irrelevant. It wasn't in their psyche. They weren't prepared to enable that. They weren't prepared to sit with that. You know, as you guys know, my uncle died of blood clots after taking it. You know, but oh no, it was brain tumours, because he had brain tumours. And yes, he did have brain tumours. He had 3, God rest his soul. Hopefully I'm going to tap into him this week. I'm going to, I've got a session with a medium this week, and I'm like, please, Uncle Michael, please come through. People will only see what they are prepared to see. Remember, there are so many people out there right now that are saying, you know, that know that something doesn't feel right. They know it, but they're still going along with it because of ease. You know, somebody who's very special in my life, I absolutely adore him, messaged me this week and said to me, you know what, Luce, it goes against everything I believe in, but I'm going to have to do it. It broke my heart. But again, that's my ego. I have to respect his choice. Really have to respect his choice. Doesn't mean that I would choose that for him. But I have to respect his choice. Exactly. Iron Dogger, you are absolutely correct. We are here to make a choice. So many of us that are deciding not to go down that route, you know, to step out of the control, to step out of the matrix that we're currently living in. The reason this is taking place right now, please believe me when I say we're jumping out of the loop. All these souls are going to be going back through that loop again. And this is where I talk about the segregation of consciousness. We are going to see the world for what it really is. We're going to see the world for what it is. Those of us in our higher consciousness, we are going to be living in a state of love constantly, and the higher vibration emotions constantly. I don't believe, when I do this, I don't believe that's literally what's going to happen. I believe we're all going to be, and I use this as a planet, although I should do that because that's my belief. I should do that. But you know what? It's just so that human consciousness can get it. I feel that this is what's going to happen. I'm going to do that from now on. That's what's going to happen. Okay. I literally feel that we are going to be residing in the same place, but we're just not going to be aware of the lower level consciousness. Why do I feel that? Because I'm really lucky in the sense that on a number of occasions, I have been able to not meet walking down the road or anything like that, but go to a higher level of consciousness and meet interdimensional beings and things that, you know, maybe don't exist in this world as we know it today. So this is why my belief system is so set in this. I believe the lower vibration will stay low. It will stay in the fear. It will stay under this. I'm going to put a dome over it. Maybe I should do that. But then those of us that are stepping out of the matrix will be above. We will be able to see it exactly as it is. There will be no more lies. We will be able to talk telepathically because we've got no reason to lie to each other. We will literally, I've always said I'm never going to go there on the flat earth stuff, but I think I've just thrown myself under the bus for the next round of crazy, you know. But it's true. This is just my perspective. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just sharing my perspective. I've done so much research on certain topics. I don't research everything. I channel a lot of stuff, but there are certain topics that I do research because I have got no idea about them. I know what I feel, but I have to research and give myself give myself that consciousness. So that's how I see it. The low vibration will stay here with the dome. Above the dome, there will be a higher level of consciousness, and basically we'll be able to tap into everything, all of the different layers of consciousness, from 5 all the way up, you know, and we'll be able to see things that we never realized existed, but we will also be able to see the bigger picture. So just allow this flow. See how it sits with you. Some of this might make sense to you. Some of this might not sit right with you. You know, it's interesting, as my husband believed the narrative as colleagues have died, I finally accepted his choice. I feel it's a way of us separating into our paths. I used to feel pain, but no longer. Yeah, I wouldn't look at it as separation right now. What I would be looking at is, he is going to be your biggest teacher. Anybody like my mum and my stepdad that have taken it and that are so set in their ways, I'm actually really looking at how I can communicate with them as consciously as possible without allowing any fear to crop up, or hate or hurt or guilt or pain or resentment or any of those lower vibrational emotions. So I would look at it, Nicola, as you know, what do I need to learn from this person that I chose to be my husband? Because remember, you chose that person. You chose that person. Now, you chose that person because you knew that they were going to be your biggest teacher. Like we choose our parents because they're our biggest teachers. So I would be looking at it saying, and you may go off in your own separate paths, you may go off into different consciousness, but just because certain people are believing it right now, there is still this shaken to be awakened that's taking place. So don't lose faith. But I do truly believe that this higher level of consciousness is coming. I really do believe, like I say, we're going to see some more noise. And I don't know, October was huge for me a couple of weeks ago. So maybe we'll get the announcement in October. I don't know. And then it will be a little bit draconian for a part of the winter. And then we'll start to see things shift. So we've got to hold in there, guys. Okay? We've got to hold in there. I'm glad whatever penny just dropped has just dropped. I'm really pleased. That's what I'm here to do. I don't know. I don't know how sometimes me just sharing this stuff with you helps you to connect the dots. But we've just got to remember, we've chosen all of these people. We have chosen. Yeah, I've not heard of it. I need to take a look into that. I'll have a little look into that. What I am obviously working on, some of you will know, I am working with some incredible people to, you know, really get things moving in America. I'll be honest, about, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago now, I channeled that I was going to be rounding up, not me literally, but basically we were going to be rounding up all of the people on the planet that could see through this BS. We were going to round them all up and we were going to take them to somewhere in America. Channeled that about 6 months ago. And really interesting, I was talking with one of my guy friends in Sydney, Australia yesterday, and he was like, oh, Lucy, it's crazy. You know, everybody thinks I'm crazy. It's really next level here. And I just said to him, babe, hold the line. I'm coming to get you. Because that's how I see it. I see that there is going to be a period of time where we're going to be living together in a community, and then we will go back out into the world. That's what I feel. So I'm working on that in America. I can't give beautiful. Thanks for that, Nick. That's really beautiful. I can't give you the location of where we're doing this in America right now, but it's in flight. We have 65 acres of land with, you know, fresh running water that's never been tampered with. So please know, and remember the stuff about Moses that I've spoken about. Like, for those of you that haven't heard, and I know people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I've channeled that I was Moses in a past life. This is what I'm doing. I'm collecting the people, and I'm going to be leading them. And I don't feel I'm going to literally collect everybody up. Otherwise, I'm going to be busy going to Australia, going to New Zealand, going to all of these countries. I feel as if I'm going to be the lighthouse rather than using technology this lifetime, rather than the literal leader taking you forwards. you know, and I know people always go, oh my God, she's lost the plot, talking about Moses, and some random man called me a false prophet. But I'm just telling you what I'm shown. I don't believe I'm special. I believe I'm exactly like you guys. I believe that we have come here together this lifetime to pull ourselves together, to really, really, really make sure that we get this done once and for all. We move out of this consciousness and we never come back to it. This is what we came for. This is about the truth. This is about our love. This is about us stepping up, coming together as communities. Just because we're so spread out right now, technology is making it easy for us to have these communities, these hubs. This is what's important. Please do not lose sight of that. If you need anywhere to hang out, get in my Self-Love Club with Lucy Davis group on Telegram or on Facebook. I've got a couple of thousand people on Facebook. I've got 1,000 people on Telegram. Come together. You know, this is how we're going to build the communities. If you want to be around more stuff, just get in there. They're free. Like, you don't have to do anything. You can just literally stalk, if you like. You can literally just keep watching and watching and watching. You don't need to be involved in anything, but all of the information is going to, oh, well, there you go. You know, this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to get over it. Now, I'm just going to, like, last point, go to Chrissy's comment. I've just seen the government is being recalled early. What did I say? September, we will be locked back down. What did I say? At some point, people are going to start believing me. They will. They'll pull it back in. They'll create the fear. You know, everything. Iron Dogger, I've not seen you on any of my videos before, so thank you for joining us. Your contribution has been absolutely beautiful, and it has been noted. I am going to make sure that I look at the Venus project for definite. And Chrissy, another great point. I wanted to bring this up today, but obviously we've come to the end. I just wanted to let you guys know how funny. The Taliban have been missing for what, 18 months, 2 years? All of a sudden, we're bringing it back in. Why? Because let's create a new emergency. Distraction over here, emergency over here. Let's just screw with people's heads that little bit more. Ed, I love you, my friend. Everybody, I absolutely love you. Please remember to stand in your truth. Please know we have got this. And please know that when I can share more information on what we're doing in America, I promise you I will be. And somebody asked earlier today, and I don't know who it was, so my apologies for not acknowledging it at the time. I will be in America ASAP. I promise you, as soon as I can get in there, guys, I will be there, and I will be collecting all of you from wherever you are. Doesn't matter if you're on the east coast of Australia, doesn't matter if you're in New Zealand, you will all be able to come with us. I promise you, this is what is taking place. Guys, mwah, I love you to the moon and stars. Keep grounded, keep protected, and I will see you at some point this week. If not, I'll see you on Sunday. Lots of love, guys. Take care. Love you all.